Hey, I'm Steven.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're independent hairdressers. We started this podcast because there's a movement in our industry.
Hairdressers are embracing independence more than ever. These are the stories of those hairdressers.
We hope you find them inspirational and educational and show you that independence does not mean isolation. You're a part of this revolution, and we're here to support that. All right, we're here with Mauricio Ballora, or Mo, as I call him, or most of his friends call him. He is the president of HairStory, and I'd like him to clarify a little bit because I think, we talk a lot about Michael Gordon and HairStory and founding it and Bumble and all that, but a lot of people don't know there's a lot of great people behind the whole thing, and you are one of those key players here. And we wanted to invite you on the show because as I've worked with you, it's obvious the business background, the sales background, and also the scientific background and all that. You are a wealth of information, and that's a big part of what we haven't shared with our audience quite yet. We've talked about new wash, soap-free, in an episode with Denise, we talked about, just soap-free everything. But today we really want to get to the meat of the business and address some of the questions that people have when I talk to them about HairStory. Because we're so different. We're different not only in the soap-free thing, but really it's a completely new way of doing business. And I think that's kind of sometimes intimidating or scary for people. So first of all, if you could explain your position at HairStory and kind of maybe give a little bit of background on yourself and how you came to where you are now.
Sure. HairStory is a great team. It's not one person. It's a group of people with a mission and a vision and working for it. We're three partners, Eli Halliwell, myself, and Michael Gordon. I am trying to help in the sales side and some other strategic things. And also have some scientific background. So just as 2 seconds about my background, I had many years as CEO of different companies. I worked for a big company, Brazilian company called Natura. I worked before for Mary Kay. Before that, I worked in the pharmaceutical industry in Allergan. That reminds my initial background, which is in science. I am a doctor in pharmacy and biochemistry, but devoted most of my life to business. So I had that rare combination of both science and business. HairStory is like a summit for me. Yes, we are starting. And I worked for very big companies before, multi-billion-dollar companies. But the soul and the heart of HairStory cannot be compared to anything else. First of all, we are here for our clients. And every company says that.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Right? But I can prove it. And I think we can talk about the way we see the business today. We believe that the new era is not about the company, but it's about the clients. You're not what you say about yourself. It's what your clients say about you. That's what you are. Depending how you treat them, really treat them, they're going to feel different, right? The first thing we believe is that our clients are like our partners. They're not our prisoners. We're not getting their money and running. We are trying to create a partnership because at the end of the day, the more our clients grow, the more we will grow. And there's no many companies thinking that way. Normally companies think, how much money can I take from this guy before this guy dries out, right? And what we're thinking is, how can we make this guy grow so we grow together? One of the things that Eli says all the time is, I love that quote, is we are not here to sell products to hairdressers. We're here to help hairdressers sell product to their clients. Mm-hmm. And you might think, well, what's the difference? It's a huge difference. We can get into the details of the business later, but just one. We don't have minimums. So we're not here to force you to buy thousands of dollars of products. We are here to help you selling as much product as you can to your clients without having to invest in us big amounts of money in advance. So that changes totally the position. And our business model is so different. That's why I say I can prove it.
Yeah. If somebody does join HairStory and invest that initial investment, which, is anywhere from $115 to $400, that's not a big chunk of money, right? Considering
we're not there just to sell you one big order and then run.
It's really like, okay, well, what do we do to help you actually sell it, introduce it? So then you will continue that relationship with us because it's the long game, right?
Right on. You are just right on. It's great that is that way, because it becomes our problem how to help hairdressers to grow. Because if we don't make money. So that's the secret, I believe, of our difference, in which it's a long-term relationship or it is not.
Mm-hmm. Well, that does lead us into, and you teased about it a little bit. How is the business model different?
Okay, to see the difference between our business model and the rest, let me take 2 seconds to state 2 or 3 things that happens in the old business model. The old business model was what I call an inventory transference. Basically, I am a big company and I have 20 gazillion different products. Some of them are good, some of them are medium, some of them are what they are, right? And I need to transfer my inventory to other people, meaning hairdressers. I need to sell it to you. The problem is that sometimes you don't want to buy some of the things I have, right? But my brand is strong because I invest a lot of money in advertising and, it's recognizable. So you want to carry my brand. The problem is that the way the business is set up, you don't have the decision, how do you carry my brand? The decision, how do you carry my brand, is mine, the brand decision. Meaning, you're going to buy $5,000, $10,000 minimum. You are going to get all that on your shelf. That is going to include products that you want to sell, products that you don't even know that exist, and products that you don't want to sell, but I don't care. I had to transfer it to you because I don't want them in my warehouse. And by the way, you're going to pay me cash up front, and good luck selling this product. And by the way, if you want to continue carrying my brand, you have to buy every month a minimum, right? And I don't care if you sold or you didn't your products. You need to buy them because if you don't, you're losing all your benefits. And by the way, if I launch a new product, which might be needed or not by the market, I would say most of the time is not needed. You are forced to buy it because you are going to be the one who are going to do my job. You're going to advertise a bit, but then you're going to sell it even though it's not needed. So does it ring a bell? Mm-hmm. That's what happened. Yeah. That's what happened in the last, how many years, Prince?
So they're mostly focused on making money off of that. They don't care about whether it gets to the client or not. They're just worried about if the hairdresser pays them right there. That's their sell, right?
Well, obviously, if it gets to the client, better, because everybody wants products to the client. I cannot tell that they are that ridiculously bad.
Because that's how that allows that hairdresser to have the money to buy the second.
But the question is who's working?
Yeah, it's like a strong arm situation. They have
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now you have to sell to your clients things that you might be willing to sell or not. And here is the thing. Whose face is in the line? That's the question. Because you hairdressers, as any professional service provider, what is the skill you use to compete with other colleagues? I mean, it's your ability to do a great haircut. Mm-hmm. It is your ability to give service. It is your environment. Mm-hmm. But all that goes into one word, which is trust. Mm. If your client trusts you, then it's going to be loyal. And a service provider like a hairdresser is all about loyalty. Because really, you start making money with your clients when those clients become really loyal to you, not only because they come back, but because they want to refer you. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a very, very old axioma that says that an existing client generates 11 new clients in a lifetime.
Wow.
So every existing client is potentially 11 more clients to you. So that is your asset. That is your treasure, right? Now, I am a big company asking you to buy $10,000 in inventory, of which 20%, and I'm just saying a number, 20%, X%, are products that you really don't want. Nobody want to buy, right? They're called the collectibles. Those ones that stay on your shelf for forever. But you put money on that. That's not for free, right? You invest.
Sure.
You should put your cash there. So now you're forced, as you said,
strong eye.
You have to sell to your client or you're going to lose money. And you're going to sell something that you don't want to sell. And the compromise here is, what do? I respect my professionalism, not selling what I don't want to sell, or I lose all this money. And I don't have the answer, but that's the situation they put you on. So that's the old business way.
And when you're talking about the trust part with your client, and that's really at the core of this, because as Brandon and I know, being hairdressers, I feel like we've cultivated that trust with our clientele, and people will pretty much, if we say do it, they'll do it. And it's kind of shocking sometimes the influence I have. I'm like, wow, you really will. But when I was thinking about the business component in these large business, and I think about how the relationship with the hairdresser and the company selling the products, how that could affect the trust between the hairdresser and the client. Because I'm thinking, if I am in a traditional situation, I am selling a product to my client. This is the greatest thing for you. You should get it. They buy it. Then they go into Sephora and then they see that same product and they get the points or a discount. I feel like that kind of messes with my relationship with my client a bit. Like
a bit.
Well, that, and you're forced to sell them the stuff that you don't feel integrity with, right?
Exactly. And you know what? I know that the issue today is about the business and not about the product itself. But when we started, much before launching it, like 4 months before, we got an epiphany. We gave, New Wash is a very easy to use product, but there are a couple of things you need to know, as you know very well. You have to use enough product and you have to rinse well. Those are the 2 things you need to know. That's it, right?
Yeah, it really is that simple.
And there's a third thing. It's just in some cases you might have a transition time, but that's it. But you need to know them. It's not a typical shampoo where everybody knows how to use it. You need to explain. So we did a little test, and we gave product to some hairdressers, but we didn't explain a thing, and we didn't ask them to use the product on themselves. So we just gave them the products like typical companies do, and that was a big mistake. Thanks God we did it in the trial phase, and the feedback was bad. Feedback was not good. Oh, what is this? Right? And then we realized, wait a minute, it doesn't lather. Right? People expect lathering. It doesn't lather. And there's those 2 things that I said before that need to be known. So we said, wait a minute, this is not going to be the way we talk to hairdressers anymore. We cannot treat hairdressers as companies do, where you like the branding, you like my culture, sell it.
Yeah. You're not giving away goodie bags full of samples to random people and just hope that they end up liking it. Because
exactly.
It's probably not going to work.
It's not going to work. So what we decided, and I think was a genius moment that we had. You had one in your lifetime, probably that was our one. When we said, we are not going to talk about the business or sell any single unit to any hairdresser if they don't like the product on themselves. And that addresses your point, Brandon. We are not asking anybody to sell a product that they don't like.
Yeah.
Because if you say to us during the trial, and hairdressers, as you know, don't pay for that sample, right? We send it to them. And if you say, you know what? No, it's not for me. For whatever reason, it's fine.
That's kind of good for you guys. You're like, fine. I don't want someone selling my product who doesn't love it anyways.
Absolutely. First of all, they're going to switch to another product as soon as they get someone else with a better deal, short term. Right? And second, again, it's part of our vision that we're working with hairdressers, elbow to elbow with hairdressers, not using hairdressers. It's a big difference. When you just treat hairdressers as a distribution channel, you're using that channel. Today, they're hairdressers. Tomorrow is Sephora, with all the respect to Sephora, which is a great company. But
sure.
But they have a different space, right? Yeah. Or Ulta or any of the other ones, which are great companies, but they're just channels. We don't see hairdressers as a distribution channel. We see hairdressers as an enabler for a new culture. And if you want to be part of a new culture, you have to be part of the new culture. So you need to like that new culture. And not using shampoo or not using detergent, right? It's part of the culture. Yeah. So if you don't like not to use detergent, you're not part of our culture. As simple as that. Yeah. So your point, Brandon, is a very good one. Pushing people to sell things that they don't like, it's dangerous for both parts. For me, because at the end of the day, you don't like me doing that to you, right? No. Yeah. So you're going to do it for a while until you get sick of it, right? And then you're going to move on and I'm going to lose you. But most importantly, I will force you to do something to your client that could erode the client's trust on you, which is the biggest asset that a hairdresser has. And Stephen, you said, I don't know why they do what I tell them. Why you don't know? People is putting looks for the next 45 days, 40 days, whatever it takes, in their hands, in your hands. So it's like going to the doctor and the doctor recommends something and then you don't do it. Well, you to go. Right? Yeah. You should go. Right. Hairdressers are that. Hairdressers are, you trust your hairdresser. You are influencers. And I know that you have lots of hairdressers listening to you. I mean, guys, wake up. You are influencers. Sometimes the doctor says, I don't like to sell. What do you think? You're a car salesman, with all the respect to car salesmen? No. You're providing a service that comes with the job that you need to take care of your client. It is important you take care in an integral way with your client. I mean, it's not just cutting the hair. It's all the rest. And the clients are going to listen to you. That's what they're paying for. And sometimes I see hairdressers that are a little bit afraid of saying, oh, this is the product I love, because they believe they're salesy. Well, the client is not seeing it that way. The client is eager for that information. I mean, they just want to know what you like.
Can I share? I remember talking to you once about this, that you guys had actually did some polling with clients and actually asked the clients, what does the hairdresser say regarding shampoo?
And the answer is nothing. They just don't talk. In the clients I talked to, and I asked, are you expecting them to tell you? They say, yeah, absolutely. Every time I ask if this is good, they're telling me it's good. And I don't know if it is, because anything I ask them, they say, yes, continue using what you're using. And then I think about what I'm expecting as a client. So when you're in front of someone that has the authority, the knowledge, the experience, you trust that person. The only thing you want is that person to tell you what to do. Because then it's one less problem that you have. Because you're making an educated decision based on the recommendation of someone that you trust, that has knowledge, that has studied, that has experience. I mean, that's what influencers is all about, right?
This is all awesome information, but I want to steer it back toward where we kind of left off with how the hair story business is different than the traditional one. So, what is it that distinguishes it?
Right. So the first thing we said is that, okay, independent hairdressers are now business owners.
Now, was that a driving decision in the business model for Hair Story, that independent hairdressers, that there's more and more self-employed people working for themselves? Was that really driving? Was that a big consideration?
It was. We saw that in the last 5 years, the independent hairdressers market, let's call it that way, went from 15% to over 50% of the whole hairdressers market, and it's still growing. And I'm sure it's going to continue growing because you see other countries moving towards that model. And why is that? There's a very clear reason. I mean, salons are animals of the past somehow. I mean, with all the respect to the great salons that exist today. But really, the owner of the salon needs to do everything. Bring the clients in, train the hairdressers, etc., etc. And the hairdressers are not happy because of the commission they receive. They believe is not enough pay for what they do, etc. So it makes all sense for hairdressers to move on. But so yes, it was a very important consideration to our marketing strategy to go to independent hairdressers because it's the growing market, and one way or the other, either at suites or renting chairs or some other hybrid models that might exist. We believe it is the present. It's not the future anymore. It's just moving towards a very, very high percentage. I don't think it's going to be 100%, but it's going to be close to 80 soon enough. So yes, the answer is yes. The second thing is when an independent hairdresser becomes independent, normally it starts as a small business, right? You bring all your clientele or a high percentage of your clientele, but suddenly instead of just going to the salon and get your pay, you have to take care of your rent, your everything, pay your appliances, buy things.
Get the coffee grounds, pay your taxes,
well,
get your insurance.
I was at your salon while you were just refurbishing. I mean, all the amenities that you have at your salon, you had no other one doing it. I mean, it was yourself. Exactly. So that's what I'm talking about. Now you're not just a business owner, but you're also the service provider. So it is a uphill first months, if you wish. So what happened in the market? What happened is that the independent hairdressers didn't have enough money to invest in those $5,000, $10,000 inventory.
So even if we wanted to, myself and Brandon included, transitioning from a traditional commission situation to owning our own place, even if we wanted to participate in the old model, we couldn't. Like, not only was it not a good idea. It's not good business for the hairdresser, but we were cut out of, access to, the majority of prestige brands, especially. So,
Which is a gigantic bias of many companies that when they ask me, is it a big hairdresser? How do you find that?
Yeah.
The hairdresser is great by him or herself and defined by the clientele and the loyalty of that clientele.
Not the salon.
Not the salon.
Not the salon. Not how much they charge. Not even the hair that they do. Like, it's very
absolutely. Absolutely. And it varies state by state, city by city. So what you need to see is, okay, does this hairdresser have a loyal clientele? That's the question. On top of everything that you just said, you're being cut out. There is a big investment. And I've seen many suites of all the brands. And I've seen many chair renting salons, etc. Where do you put all that inventory?
That's a good point. Just the logistical side of it.
You don't have enough space in your suite to do it. So suddenly let's say that you are able to buy $10,000 of inventory and you have to stock it in your closet. You don't even show it. So it doesn't make sense, the old model, when you see where the market is going. So the first thing we said is that it's not about selling to the hairdressers, but helping the hairdressers to sell to the clients. That's the first thing. In reality, what that result was, we're not going to sell $10,000 inventory first order kits. No. We want the hairdresser to have the following things in the starting kit. Number one, the back bar, because using the back bar in every single client is key here, because they're going to see the difference.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to feel the difference, right? So when they feel the difference, question is, what did you do?
It's amazing because you don't even have to bring it up usually. Like the client brings it up to you, says like, wait, you only did one step. That's a talking point. This feels different.
Right.
That's
No
another
condition,
one.
right.
The second, and it gives you this perfect lead in to talk about something that you're not carrying unless you already fell in love with it. So then you just get to talk about what you love.
Which is pretty easy, right?
It's so easy.
So the back bar is, if you ask me, what is this model depending on? So every single client must go through the back bar. Mm-hmm. So the starter kit must have a back bar, and that's what it has. And then it has to have at least a little amount of product, because what we learned is that the first bottle, it's easier to be sold on hand. I mean, you sell it that moment and the client takes it home. Mm-hmm. And then the online model comes in the second bottle. It can come in the first, but most of the cases it comes in the second bottle. So you need to have at least 3, 5, 6 bottles on your shelf. We don't ask you for more. And that is, as you said before, Stephen, from $115 to $400. Mm-hmm. It's nothing compared to the thousands of dollars that everybody's asking you. So that's the first big difference. The second big difference is that what you just mentioned some time ago about how do you feel when you're converting your client to a product, and then the client goes to, you name the place, supermarket to a beauty place, and they see the product there. They probably get the points. They have coupons. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they have super, sales and discounts because the supermarket can do it and you can't. Right. It's a little bit size difference there,
right? A bit of volume
between a big supermarket and yourselves. And then you make, what's the biggest effort someone does is converting the client. Converting the client is
easy.
Right? You need to convert. And then when the benefit comes in, you don't get it.
Sure.
Because the client is going to go to a supermarket.
Yeah, you did all the work. And then the second bottle they buy online, but not through a way that you can access.
Exactly. They buy it on Amazon or whatever other place, or they go to Target. I don't know. So we said we need to make sure that the hairdresser gets rewarded for the job of converting the client. So every single bottle that this client, provided you're registering, hairdressers registering the client, to the rest of that client's days, the commission is going to go to you.
Even when they don't see you anymore as a hairdresser.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they move to another state.
Absolutely. Because what we are rewarding is the most difficult part of the job, which is converting the client.
Right.
What should I reward it for? I should reward you hairdresser, meaning Brandon, for your actual job. And your job is telling the client why do you like the product? How is this product going to be better? It's not just the product. I mean, the culture of not using detergent, etc. And we believe that's why, as a good question, if the person moves to another state and sees another hairdresser and that person continues buying No Wash or any hair story product, we assume that who did the job to convert that client is the first hairdresser. That's why we're paying the commission to that hairdresser forever.
Yeah.
And it's the same that you're going to make if you buy the inventory.
So thinking about putting all this together, other than that initial introduction, I mean, it's all kind of coming together where it's great to have the inventory because it's likely to be the first purchase somebody makes because you want to walk home with that thing you're excited about. Mm-hmm. But the game changer here is return on investment. If we were to get a little more technical,
yes,
the part about that this client can continue to buy products from hairstory.com registered through you, and you could just sit back collecting checks. It sounds silly, but I know I'm going to make it just silly sounding like that. But really, I mean, that is unheard of in our business.
It is.
And that's something that has been so difficult. And a thing that drove Brandon and I to do this podcast, to explore other options, is we were so tied to our services or selling a product in the salon. We could not see a way to grow or change? Like what is 30 years down the road going to look like? Like felt so stuck. Like I got to be there standing behind the chair because that's the only possible way I was going to make any money.
You just gave me the chance to address one thing that makes the whole difference. If you think, how does a service provider make money? And what are the limitations or the barrier to grow? They make money giving the service, and that requires time, action, right? So how many hours can a hairdresser work? 24.
24, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And let's say you cannot sleep a single day in your life. You're never going to work more than 24 hours. So basically, time constraints is one of the limitations of a service provider, in this case, a hairdresser. You can work so many hours. And most of hairdressers have two hands.
Yeah.
Right? So you cannot cut two heads at the same time. I mean, it's pretty difficult. So that being said, I mean, how much can you grow? Well, you can increase what you charge.
But even that tops out at some point, pretty much.
There's a point where it tops out. Where does it top out? Where the market is, or whatever, right? So many independent hairdressers decided not to retail. Why? Because of what we talked before.
The investment.
Exactly.
The other
limitation is investment. I mean, listen, they asked me $10,000 and I have $10,000 to invest in inventory, or I put another chair, or
do education.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the other limitation. So basically you have two limitations to grow. Your time, we cannot solve that.
Yeah.
But what about the investment side? What if we create a system where the investment to get in is incredibly low, so no barrier there, and then you can make money at the same time that you're cutting hair?
Right. And there's no limit. I mean, there could be 20 people purchasing a bottle of New Wash online at the same moment you're using your two hands to cut some hair.
Absolutely. Which in another case, you wouldn't. Because, for example, I mean, if you go to Green Space, that I know very well, your salon, I mean, if someone walks in to buy a bottle of product, you would have to stop.
I do, yep.
Right? Go to your shelf, right? It's not going to be magically coming to your client.
Right.
But if we create a system where you just register your clients underneath of you, and then you do nothing, and your client gets in, two magical things happen. One, as you said, you're going to make money while you're using your hands cutting hair, or you're just with your kids, right?
Yeah.
And another thing, which is pretty technical, but I'm going to use it. I mean, it's a return on investment. What is, in a very easy way, a return on investment? How much money am I earning for every dollar that I put in? Right? If I put $1 and I get 50 cents of gains, it's a 50% return on investment, right? What if I put $0 on the table? What's a return on investment?
100.
Like well, actually, it's more. It's infinite. Infinite.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you divide by 0. So it's infinite.
Yeah.
I put 0 money and I get $10. That's infinite. I mean, technically, if you do the math, it's infinite return on investment.
Yeah.
Is it true? Well, yes. But how is that true? Well, it is true because what we are doing is that we are making the expense. We're not transferring the inventory to you. We are keeping the inventory in our warehouse, and we are paying you for your recommendation. We're saying you recommended this product to this person. Your commission is yours, right? Because that's what we're paying to you for, to make people change to our product. Every time they buy, you earn your 25%. And how much money did you put on the table to do that? 0. And this is the game changer. This is the game changer for an independent hairdresser, because suddenly, and I tell you what is happening. Now we have a year under the belt. So what happened in this year is that we have some hairdressers that they're decreasing their purchases of inventory month after month, but they're making more and more money because their clientele went from buying at the store to buying online.
Yeah.
And you know what? Suddenly, that hairdresser is not investing money in retail, and the retail is happening. Who's carrying the cost of the inventory? Their story. Us. That's the huge game changer. Huge difference.
Well, and it makes me think about how also I would always have those conversations with the client when they were coming in. Every single time they were coming in, I was going through the retail sale part of it. I was like, do you need the products? Do you need this? I don't do that anymore because I'll do it. I'll be like, hey, and they're like, nope, got it. It's online. My order came in last week. So not only it saves me time in the salon. I don't have to go through that. And I don't have to be a little nervous about asking them to buy a product.
Exactly, because it's the end of the month and it's a bad moment to sell the product.
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing that I think is a game changer too is that we don't force the clients to buy in any frequency at all. They have the chance, we call them the New Wash Club, where they just can subscribe to get the product in a certain frequency. But the trick here is that they can decide what is the frequency. 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 12 weeks. You might have 5 daughters,
Yeah.
right? And you might need it every other week. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or with long hair. Or you might need it every 12 weeks if you live alone and you have short hair or whatever. We don't care. But it's also foreseen to take the pressure from the hairdresser.
Completely.
Because now the client has the product and that's it. And by the way, let's say that the client, they use less or they cut their hair and they don't need the product when it's due. I mean, they can just call and change it.
Well, you know what's even better is you're notified via email, like, we're about to send this. Like,
Exactly.
to me, that is a message from the company saying, we're not trying to force this down your throat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of course, it's an opportunity to add more stuff if you need it.
Right.
But it's also saying, like, hey, we want you to be aware that this is about to happen because we're not trying to hoodwink you into getting stuff you don't need. And I really value that as a hairdresser myself, and then as, you know, my clients that get the product, because then it gives them a little heads up. Like,
So the whole model changed from, let me get rid of all this inventory I have in my own warehouse, put it on your shelf, and you sell it the way you can. And by the way, you have to buy every single thing at launch, to we're going to have only 4 products. In a year, we did not launch a single product.
Mm-hmm.
And before launching another product, we have to think it very well, because it's not going to be just a new product to make you buy more things. It's going to be only if it's needed. So 4 products only, which New Wash obviously is a big, flag carrier. And we are not going to push you to buy big first orders. We're not going to force you to buy every month X amount of money. We are not even going to force you to buy to make money. The only thing you need to do is use your back bar in every single client. Make sure you have enough product. It doesn't need to be a lot. It depends how many clients you have, but enough products to make sure that your new conversions get the product in hand. And then make sure that you register your client on your back office. So now we know that client is yours.
Yeah.
And nobody else's. So whenever the client gets in, you're going to get the commission. So you don't need to buy inventory or to invest in this inventory to get your commission back. So that's a major change. And the problem is when people try to compare both things. Oh, why is it 50% against 25%?
that's what I was going to say. Like, what's the catch here? Like, it sounds all well and good, but what's the catch? And it kind of brings up that part of it. Oh, wait a sec. I buy a $40 bottle of shampoo from X brand and I earn $20 on it. Why then, if I sell a $40 bottle of New Wash, do I only make $10? Like,
It's a very fair question, but it is a question that is based on comparing the old model to the new model.
Yeah.
You cannot compare just a discount. You need to compare model to model. So first thing, you get 25% forever instead of 50% for one purchase.
maybe just one purchase, maybe, sure.
The rest are at Ulta.
Or they come back.
Or they go to
crushing.
another state, or they go to another hairdresser, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you sell 1, 2, 3 times, or one only, and then there's no benefit for what your job was converting that person to that product. Second thing is that what is the return on investment of 50%?
50.
Exactly.
50%.
Return on investment, 50% discount. And what is the return on investment of an online commission?
What's infinity?
Right.
Yeah.
So you cannot compare 50 to 25. You have to compare the whole model. Let's say a client gets a product every 61 days, which is exactly our average, right? 61 days is a repurchase time. So you invested $30, right? On $30. And first time you get $10, right?
When you sell, yeah.
When you sell it. 2 months later, you get another $10, but you didn't put another 40, right? Now you have $20. So suddenly you receive $20 and you invested 30. 2 months later, you're putting nothing. You're getting another $10. You still invested 30, right? Now you got $30. So now you have 50%. 2 months later, it's gravy.
Yeah.
Forever. So that's the number you have to make, right? It's a different model, totally different. And if we don't charge shipping. Most companies do. And depending on the volume that you're ordering, it might be significant or not. Plus the cost of cash. Nobody's counting the cost of cash. And the cost of cash has 2 nuances. One is, if I have this cash in a savings account, if I have this cash in the market, if I have this cash in any investment, how much money is going to give me while my products are sitting on the shelf for 6 months and cannot sell them, and then have to discount them and, just to get the cash back. How much money did I not make because I was not investing the money in a bank or whatever? Sure. And how many opportunities I lost because of that? And sometimes it hurts me going to an independent hairdresser that makes the effort of getting this big brand, and they have $5,000 on the shelf, right? And I'm asking them, how much are you selling? Well, I'm selling this product, obviously, the one that everybody loves. How much money are all this? About $2,000. Okay. What if instead of buying the inventory that you have on the shelf that you're not going to sell ever, you use that money for a growing opportunity? What if you have another chair and you rent that chair, or you hire some, I don't know.
Or you go spend $2,000 on some education that allows you to.
Exactly. Or in vacation.
Or just on vacation. Yeah, sure.
Right. To go on vacation. So it's a complex, meaning there's just a lot of things playing at the same time when you compare one model to the other. One model is a one-shot thing. Mm-hmm. It's a trade. Get this product. Good luck with it. 50% is for you if you can sell it at full price, because normally you don't sell it at full price, but that's a different thing versus a journey. Mm-hmm. Yes, you buy little inventory and by the way, if you have the capacity, which is very difficult, to make your clients go online directly, then your return on investment is infinite from start because you don't invest in inventory. I don't recommend that because the experience tells us that when you have 5 bottles on the shelf, it's easier to convert a client. Mm-hmm. So that's the experience tells us. But the whole model is thinking in a journey, not thinking in a one transaction. So I think you nailed it when you said, Stephen, at the beginning, just selling the first kit. That's not what we are looking for. That's not our deal. I mean, it's creating the relationship that is our deal.
Right. I think it's really clear. I mean, I love that we can get so in depth with this, because after somebody has fallen in love with the product and then they kind of get introduced to the whole business of it, like they've already done something new with washing their hair. And then it's kind of this whole new way of thinking about the business. Sometimes I think it can be a little intimidating at first. And that's exactly why we wanted you on the show, to really break this down. And that leads me to the next part of the business. Mm-hmm. And that is the referring other hairdressers. But, and I think this is great that Brandon's here with me. Of course, where else would he be? Well, I kind of I was the first person to talk to Brandon after he sampled our product.
I didn't like him. Who is this guy calling me?
No joke, yeah.
What's going on here?
I'm what is this?
What are you making me sign up for?
Like, what is this? What is this scam? And here we are, like, I'm in Utah, Brandon's in Vegas, but Brandon's from Utah as well. And for our listeners who don't know, Utah has a bit of a reputation regarding these MLM scary little scam things. Yeah. And Brandon's like, great, what is this? Like, some random dude's calling me to try to get me to buy. And I just wanted to see what you thought about the product.
Yeah. It was just so new to me. I was just very cautious.
Yeah. And understandably so. So I want to help people understand very clearly what that part of our business is. And even just the way we buy and sell products to our clients is innovative enough that even if we didn't have this, the referring other people, I still think that in itself is a way that people can be wildly successful with Hair Story. But yeah, this other component, let's talk about that. Like, sure. What is this weird little, is this a scam? What's going on?
It's so weird.
I love you brought it up because it's not an MLM by definition. It's not. And I have some experience in those things. And it is a direct selling mode, which we call the influencers model. Why an influencers model? Because hairdressers are influencers. Mm-hmm. And basically what we are working with them is them influencing clients. Now, what is technically the difference between an MLM and a direct selling? MLM, you make money, what they call the opportunity. You make money bringing people in, period. And it is blurred how many customers you really have. Technically, you get paid for the products you buy, but really what you're getting paid is when you're selling big kits, big volume kits to different people.
To the people who are signing up.
Exactly. But in this case, what happens is that in an MLM, a person this low is going to generate commissions all the way up in the tree, let's call it, in the upstream. So someone refers someone who refers someone who refers someone who refers someone who refers someone, and this someone is creating earnings for all these people, right? So when you see that, you understand that the mechanics is to the more people you bring in, everybody's making money, right? While direct selling is a totally different approach. Direct selling is all about you make money only if you're selling products to clients, right? That's a huge difference. The second thing is that, okay, who's making money and why? That question will drive me in the reason why we decided this method. When we started, how would you make yourself known? How? You are a company and you have to sell. How do you make yourself known?
Usually with loads of advertising, right?
Loads of advertising. So you're asking a company that's starting out to fight against the big ones, advertising-wise? I mean, forget it.
Yeah, and they've already been advertising for 20, 40 years, whatever.
Even if they wouldn't, I mean, the amount of money these guys have, we don't.
Yeah.
Really, we're talking about billions of dollars here. I mean, forget it. It's totally a different league. So what is the best way to make you known is that when someone that likes something, the word of mouth, right? When someone loves something, is passionate about something, is going to try to connect to their friends or people that they know, et cetera, to tell them the good news. I love these products.
So it's really no different than a hairdresser building their own clientele because
that's what we do already.
Yeah, hairdressers don't spend money on advertising to get people to come to see them. They build a relationship with one person, and that person values that relationship and tells their friend about that relationship and the service.
Sounds like a perfect marriage.
Absolutely. It's nothing wrong if you tell your clients, hey, by the way, if you bring me a friend, you're going to get 10% discount at your next cut. What's wrong about that?
Sure. Yeah, people do that all the time. Yeah, like a referral thing. You send a couple people, you get like
something for free, or I give you a blow for free, whatever, right? So we decided that the best way for a product that is not about saying is different, but about being different. How many times you hear, oh, this new shampoo is gonna, wow, and then it doesn't happen, right? This product is not just about saying is different. It's about being different. And that requires experience. You need to experience the product to realize. If I tell you, oh, this product has a magic ingredient in it, you gotta believe me or not. But really, are you gonna see the difference? With no wash, for example, the difference is so great that when you experience it, you love it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing I love about it too. Like as a hairdresser speaking, people know it's different and it's either they love it, and that's most of the time, or they just don't. But I love that it's definitive. It's not this, like, maybe it's better today.
Because the difference is clear.
It's clear.
I mean, when I tell you that it has this magic ingredient, and then it's a lot of placebo, honestly. I said, is it my hair better? Well, hope it is, because I spend a lot of money. So you keep on watching and just looking at yourself in the mirror and say, oh, yes, it is. And you'll convince yourself, right? Because you spent a bunch of dollars for something that really you cannot tell. Well, here, as you said, is or is it not?
Yeah.
That's it. So what we thought is that if that's the kind of a product that we have, the best way to make ourselves known is that hairdressers that are passionate about it talk to other hairdressers. And so the MLM thing came out. So are we an MLM? So the first thing we said is, no, we are only paying a little commission to the hairdresser that recommends another hairdresser. But if that new hairdresser recommends another one, the first one doesn't get a thing. So really, you get money if you recommend a hairdresser yourself. It's not all the chain of people making money.
For your own efforts.
It's your own efforts, and it's for life. And it's only paid if and when that hairdresser that you might refer buys product, or a client of that hairdresser buys product. So it's not paid because the hairdresser exists, right? Because you recruit them. No. It's the same as a client. What are we paying you for with a client? We're paying you because you're converting that client. So the first bottle, you buy inventory, you sell it to your client, and then the second one the client buys online. Why are we paying you a commission? Because we recognize that you referred that client to us, right? What is the difference with a hairdresser? If you have a friend and you tell your friend, hey, I have this great product, why don't you try it? Hairdresser tries it, loves it. Why are we paying you 12.5% of what that hairdresser is buying? Because it's a reward for you converting that hairdresser. That's it. So who wants to see an MLM behind this? It's either willing to or inventing it, because it's not. It's a referral program. That's it. That's totally it. And it works because it's economically has much more sense, and because it needs experience. And some people ask me, okay, how long is it going to be until you sell this product in a shelf? Well, think about it. If someone is using the product already, right, what is our gain putting it in the shelf? None, right? Because they're buying online. We pay the commission to the hairdresser, and that's it. If we have to put it on the shelf, we have to sell it to what? The supermarket? And they're going to get what? A humongous amount of percentage of our money? Why? Why would we do that? You're going to a shampoo shelf you want to wash your hair. You never had contact with no wash, right? You have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
And then you see all the brands and you see new wash and you love the packaging and right? So you take it. You go home, you use it. It doesn't lather. You have no idea what most probably you're going to say, what did I buy?
You probably didn't get your hair clean, like most likely.
Probably you don't know how to use it because you just got in it. So it's impossible. This is a product that needs direction.
Yeah.
This is a product that needs a hairdresser as a influencer, as an experienced person to tell. And in the worst case, you need to go online and study the whole thing. But going to a shelf, you're expecting a detergent. You're not expecting new wash. So probably it's going to be a failure. So this is the best model for our product.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it's so perfect the time of how Instagram and social media is working now. I mean, those are influencers.
It's an extension of the word of mouth, essentially.
Actually, we talked about two things earlier, which was one was where's the market going? And we talked about the independent hairdressers. But also, we need to understand that the clients are getting smarter. And clients buy what other clients are buying because it's a much fair comment when you see a comment from a user than a comment from the company.
Oh, I mean, I'm on Amazon. I spend more time reading reviews on a product than I read the product description from the company.
Absolutely.
I just want to know what other people thought about it.
Listen, the old way of thinking that way. I remember my father when I was a kid and we were in the road and just traveling and he would say, son, every time you want to decide where to eat, look where the truck drivers are. So awesome. He would see a lot of trucks parking in a place, said this is a good place.
Yeah.
But that's the old version of the comments, right? And the ratings. I mean, you want to use that experience. So the whole market is going from a believe me, I'm good, company said, to try it, experience it, and then tell me what you think.
Yeah.
And that's what we are all about. So our business model is, I hate to say this, but I think it's modern. Compared to the old things there. What's the problem is that deactivating the big elephants of the huge companies is very difficult. Mm-hmm. You have a bunch of sales reps visiting a bunch of distributors, a lot of middlemen there. How do you deactivate that? It's very difficult. For us, we created our company from scratch, thinking about modernity. Thinking about how things are happening today, and we don't have all this legacy of years and years and years doing a thing that is out of order now. It's old-fashioned.
Mm-hmm. I think it's obvious. Well, and the other thing that is really nice is when I think about the referral part of it is that you're also just asking people to do what they're already doing.
Well, that's a very extremely good point.
Yeah.
Because one of the problems of any other direct selling, any one of the known cosmetic direct selling companies, and I worked many, many years in a very, very good company called Natura. It was a pure direct selling company, multi-billion company, very honest company. But this is what it is when you're in a company like that. You're telling a mom, a housewife or whatever, hey, become a salesperson.
Yeah.
Right? So now you're going to buy your cosmetics and you're going to go out and sell. And it's a very successful system, but I went through that. I mean, it's difficult. You're asking someone that never in their life, they sold a product, they did not talk to people about anything, any cosmetic or whatever. Now they have to become a salesperson.
Right.
So you're asking them to do something different than what they're doing. Here is not. Here we're saying, hey, you're a hairdresser. What you do? You cut hair, you color hair, and
you wash hair.
You wash hair and you recommend products. So keep on doing the same you're doing.
Right.
I love
Just do it with the right product and the right system. And by the way, as you said, while you're cutting hair, you're going to make money. You're not forced to sell anything that you don't want to.
Yeah.
Because you already bought it and now what I do with this thing? No. You don't need to buy this amount of inventory. And by the way, if you don't like it, we are not going to sell it to you.
Well, and it's exactly like why we don't even talk about how the business works until somebody has had the opportunity to try a full-size bottle for themselves and determine if they like the product first. It's product first. We're not selling the opportunity.
Exactly.
I've actually had people that the business model was very appealing to them because they came from a history of direct selling or multi-level marketing. So they're like, oh yeah, I see how that could make lots of money. But they didn't really care about the product that much. And it was like, no, that's not what it's about.
I'm going to use this space to say one thing to all hairdressers. We are so eager and willing and happy to send you a sample for free to try it. The only thing we are asking you in return is that let us call you. Let us talk.
Yes.
Because one thing that we're saying is that the hairdresser, this is not just we sampling you like any other company is going to sample. So just in case you want to buy this product, when we are giving you a sample, is for you to tell us, I loved it, I didn't. And if you loved it, what can we do to move on? Because this is not just a different shampoo. This is a different culture. Mm-hmm. I mean, knowing how great it is, not using detergent makes you more responsible. Suddenly now you know there is a better way. And I believe that if you're a good professional, your duty is to tell your clients what you know. So now you know. What are you going to do? Are you going to ignore it? Or are you going to do your duty and tell your clients that is a better way to treat your hair?
I think this is a perfect place I want to create like a call to action here, because I think we've explained the product, the business, all sorts of things. And now it's really just about our listeners going to, you can follow the link on our website and our Instagram profile. Yeah. There's zero risk. Just go there, register for a free bottle, and try the product out for yourself. We'll talk about all the business again later with you, but just try the product. But answer our email, answer our phone call. We just want to know what you think. I am sure we'll have another conversation with you. I would love to have you back on the show. This has been incredibly informative. I really think we got to the heart of any issues that people maybe were hesitant about. If we didn't, please reach out to us. We'll talk to you on the phone, whatever we need to do. Thank you so much for joining us, Mo.
My pleasure.
This has been awesome. Did you guys have any last words? I think we know it.
I have a question that I've been dying to ask you. I've heard about something called sausaging, and I've experienced it through my own experience with other product companies where something came out that I thought worked really nicely, and then all of a sudden it didn't work so nice anymore. What is that? And
they're going to kill me if I tell that, but I will. It's not unusual that you get a product out there with all the features and whistles and bells in the product that makes it cost very high. So the impact on the public, it's very high. And then you start taking away things that are, in many cases, the most expensive ingredients. We're going to put less because you don't declare the amounts. You just declare if it's present or not, et cetera, et cetera. And then suddenly the product starts to decay and you have no idea why. And then suddenly a new product comes in and then you switch to the new product that is either more expensive or whatever. So that happens. I'm not going to give any name or anything, but that happens. And we can't.
That's the thing is Hair Story can never do that.
Oh, no.
Because
anything we take
on.
anything we take out of the product is going to stop working. As simple as that.
And do you think that's why people say they get used to shampoos or the shampoo doesn't work anymore?
Yeah, that's pretty stupid. I mean, this is not an antibiotic. I mean, you don't create tachyphylaxis. That's the technical word for getting used to it. To a shampoo. I mean, come on. I mean, no.
Well, and that makes me think that kind of is driving these massive inventories or product offerings from companies. Like,
because it causes a redirection
spread
right?
to
a new product.
I wouldn't go that deep.
Okay.
It's not a conspiracy theory, but yes, I would say that there's some practices out there. They're not the best. We are not doing that. But even if we do that, we kill the product.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to work. Anything we take off is going to make the product stop working. And our product is not about saying that it works. It's about the experience of it working.
I love that. Thank you.
That was a good one to wrap up with there. Awesome. Well, thank you again. We look forward to the next time we meet.
Yeah. Get a bottle and we wash.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for joining us for this episode. We hope you liked it as much as we loved making it. For more information about us, our guest, or anything else you heard today, please go to detergentinsurgents.com.